I recently read this headline, How to Take the Perfect Nap, and I thought, no, I must take the perfect video script. It would take too long to watch all those videos and then synthesize the most important parts into a convenient, easily digestible 5-minute package. Then I realized it was me who wrote the article, and now I'm doing exactly that. But still, I have a point. A good nap is like a perfect souffle, light yet satisfying, airy yet grounded. You know what? Forget the souffle analogy. Let's just get to the point. Here's how to take the perfect nap. A full night's sleep is so crucial that researchers have demonstrated its effects on everything from memory to mood to immune system function. In other words, getting a good night's rest is critical for pretty much everything we do. And I know you were going to say, but Dr. Guy, what about daytime napping? Excellent point. Napping can indeed help restore alertness and improve performance when you're sleep deprived. But what about the times when you aren't sleep deprived? How much sleep do you really need during the day? Well, that depends on your age. Newborns need between 14 and 17 hours of sleep every day, spread out across multiple naps. Preschoolers between the ages of 3 and 5 require 10 to 13 hours of sleep per day. And school-aged children between the ages of 6 and 13 should get 9 to 12 hours of sleep each day. And yes, some of that sleep should come in the form of naps. Kids need naps because they are growing and developing rapidly, which requires a lot of energy. Sleep helps them restore that energy so they can keep learning and playing. Unfortunately, as we get older, we tend to get less sleep. Teenagers between the ages of 14 and 17 should get 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, which means that daytime naps aren't typically necessary unless, of course, they are sleep deprived. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. And once again, if you're not sleep deprived, daytime napping isn't strictly speaking necessary. However, there may be times where you could benefit from a good afternoon snooze. For example, if you work the night shift or have a circadian rhythm sleep disorder that makes you feel sleepy at odd hours of the day, if you have a physically demanding job or if you read trying to make up for a bad night's sleep, it's perfectly fine to take a nap. Now you might be wondering, how long a nap should I take? Well, it depends. If you have a light schedule for the rest of the day, you could probably take a 2 to 3 hour nap and still wake up feeling refreshed. But if you have somewhere to be later in the day, you might want to limit yourself to a 20 to 30-minute power nap. What if I tell you that you don't have to worry about any of that because science has determined the optimal nap length to be precisely 90 minutes? Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't quite work like that. There is no single optimal nap length for everyone. While a 90-minute nap will allow you to pass through all sleep stages, that might not be realistic or necessary for everyone. Some people might feel just as refreshed after a 10-minute nap. So listen to your body and try to figure out how much sleep you need to feel alert and focused for the rest of the day. Another question you might have is, hey, Dr. Guy, what time of day is best for napping? And again, the answer is, it depends. Some people feel sleepy in the early afternoon. Others might not start feeling tired until later in the day. Pay attention to your body's natural rhythms and nap when you feel tired. But you might also want to consider the type of work you do. If you have an important meeting or presentation in the late afternoon, you might want to avoid taking a nap because you will probably be too tired to give your best. On the other hand, if you have a physically demanding job and you finish working around noon, it might be beneficial to take a nap before starting your evening shift. That said, I wouldn't recommend taking naps later than 3 p.m. because it could interfere with your ability to fall asleep at night. As with anything else in life, moderation is key. Some people can't focus on their work without taking a quick break to recharge, while others can go for hours without feeling the need to nap. Do what works best for you and don't feel guilty about taking a break during the day. After all, there are plenty of successful people who regularly take naps, including Winston Churchill, Albert Einstein, and me. Okay, maybe crossing the street without looking both ways, that's not something I'd ever nap through. And here's one last tip for my fellow adults out there. If you're going to take a nap, commit to it fully. I know this might sound strange. I mean, why would I advocate for committing to something that I'm literally trying to get away from? Well, let me explain. Sometimes our brains play tricks on us and we wake up briefly during a nap only to convince ourselves that we were actually asleep in the first place. This phenomenon is known as sleep inertia, and it can happen to anyone. The best way to prevent sleep inertia from ruining your nap is to commit to it fully. I'm not suggesting that you set an alarm for 30 minutes and then force yourself to stay awake for the entire duration of your nap. That's not healthy and it probably won't work anyway. What I'm saying is that if you're going to take a nap, close your eyes, relax, and try to fall asleep. Otherwise, you'll just end up feeling more tired than when you started. In fact, let me just take a nap right now and show you what I mean. Hey, where did he go? He was just here. Oh, I see him. He went to his room and took a nap. But didn't he say that napping wasn't necessary for adults? Well, he did. But I also said that napping could still be beneficial for certain adults depending on their lifestyle and needs. And I suspect that napping might be very necessary for my husband. My husband is awesome and spends his days taking care of our daughter, doing chores, writing video scripts, editing videos, and creating graphics. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. And he's excellent at it, but that kind of work is mentally and physically exhausting. And according to Dr. Guy, napping can help restore alertness and improve performance when you're not sleep deprived. Oh look, he's waking up right now. Did you hear anything interesting while he was sleeping? Not really. You know, sometimes I wish my husband would take longer naps, because I love spending time with him. Oh look, he's coming out of his room right now. Want to play a game, honey? Sure. We just finished recording an episode of The Sleepy Show with Dr. Guy, and now we're giving away swag. Now remember, this giveaway ends soon. All you have to do is leave a comment below and make sure we can contact you if you win. But wait, there's more. Also today, we're releasing new limited edition stickers and pins on our site. These items are available worldwide and will ship in November. Get yours before they're gone.